Good morning, everyone, and thank you for your kind invitation. I feel honored to join today, even in this virtual way, PDAC 2025 Toronto, Canada, one of the world's most significant mineral exploration and mining convention, and present to you our vision and actions, and why not some of our weaknesses to face the challenge of raw materials supply in the green transition era. A European but also a global challenge for resources will become fierce in the coming decades. There is no doubt that the present and future of mining are strongly connected to energy transition, being one of the key factors to the transition to renewable energy production, electric vehicles, etc., and that the demand for critical raw materials is expected to increase significantly in the following years and decades. Simply put, in the green energy transition, metals are at the center of the production, transport, and storage of energy. Dependence of raw materials may soon replace today's dependence on oil. The combined market value of key energy transition minerals such as copper, lithium, nickel, cobalt, and graphite and rare earth elements more than doubles to reach 800 billion of US dollars by 2040 in the net zero scenario. In the near future, I think it won't be an exaggeration to identify raw materials as the stuff that dreams are made of. The European Union's ambition to become the first climate neutral economy by 2050 and the European Green Deal that has established objectives or targets for resilience and strategic autonomy all rely heavily on raw materials that stand at the very beginning of each value chain. In an important move to secure the supply of essential raw materials, the European Critical Raw Materials Act, CRMA, entered into force in May 2024. The European Union CRM Act introduces concept of strategic raw materials based on objectives criteria, including their economic importance and their supply risk. Also, CRMA sets ambitious mining, processing, and recycling benchmarks for 2030. See here, for extraction, it's 10% of the European Union's annual consumption for extraction to be sourced domestically. For processing, it's 40% of the annual consumption for processing to occur within the European Union, and for recycling, 25% of the consumption to come from recycling. Finally, there is a diversification target so as no single third state supplies can reach more than 65% of any raw material. And as you can see from the image, current estimated levels, the average of European member states, are well behind from these targets. Actually, Europe's current CRM dependency problem is rather huge. For example, Europe is almost 100% reliant on imports of lithium for the lithium-ion batteries. However, European potential to explore and mine its resources and produce strategic and critical elements such as lithium remains largely unattached, partly due to a reluctant attitude towards mining in several European countries. Most of the disputes among companies and various stakeholders occur as a result of conflicting land uses or due to an advanced risk for affecting the environment, communities, and ecosystems in the area of concern. As an example in the image, the recent protests in Serbia concerning the Zadar project highlight the complexity of initiating new mines in Europe. We face this kind of problems in our country as well, probably to a greater extent because of our long historical and archaeological heritage that need to be protected and preserved. Most important criterion is not the geology or the criticality or the maturity or even the economic importance of the projects. It's the criterion related to the so-called social license to operate, SLO, factor of the public awareness and social perception that are important key elements nowadays taken into consideration for the assessment and exploitation of mineral resources. New mining activities, my friends, cannot be implemented by force. If we don't make progress in this area, we believe that CRMA goals will remain just pipe dreams. 2030 is just tomorrow. Europe must accelerate if it is to achieve its ambitious goals. I'll go back to the subject in the end of my speech, but now let me go to Greece and give you the average status of mining activity. Greece is a EU country with a significant mineral resources background in terms of quality, quantity, and variety of ores, minerals, and aggregates. The high quality and many specialized uses of minerals available in Greece in comparison with other EU countries and internationally provides significant comparative advantages and positive perspectives to the economy of the country. Mining industry is strongly outward looking since it possesses some highly marketable minerals and exports account for more than 70% of national sales. Today, mining companies hold significant market shares in products such as bauxite, aluminum, ferronickel, magnesite, also gold, silver, and copper bearing mixed sulfide ores and concentrates. The pending production of metals like copper, gold, chromium, nickel, and cobalt separately in the near future will strengthen the country's mining industry. Greece is also a major global supplier of several key industrial minerals, notably bentonite, perlite, pumice, and silica. Country's position as a producer of these minerals is well established. And here you can see a general view of mineral resources of Greece. Greece also produces excellent marbles for 5,000 years, and marble sector is a traditional sector in Greece, a valuable sector which has been much appreciated as it has helped us to maintain our cultural sustainability throughout the centuries. If you have a good look on the map and the detailed resources, you will see that the potential is even bigger. Now, what is the impact of the Greek mining industry on the economy of Greece? Greek mining industry occupies 0.3% of the Greek land and provides 3% of the GDP. Mineral resource activity has traditionally been a key driver of economic development, employment in urban centers but mainly in the periphery, trade, and ultimately competitive advantage for the Greek economy. Moreover, approximately 20,000 people are employed in the sector and more than 80,000 people are employed in jobs dependent upon or associated with it. You can look at the picture for more detailed number documentation. And now, what are the reasons to invest in Greece mineral resources sector? There is no doubt that the mining industry in Greece has important strengths, positive perspectives, and offers promising prospects. Greek mineral sector is characterized by unique and highly marketable minerals, some incomparably high quantities. sector with considerable experience, excellent reputation in global markets, and a well-educated and experienced technical staff. Also, there is an updated mining legislation framework, funding opportunities, electronic tools to facilitate mining investments, established guarantees for environmental restoration, established benefits for the local communities engaged, and a strong political support to start and implement investments in the sector. Above, as well as other reasons to invest in Greece in the mining sector, are shown in the image. Well, let's now continue with an important and up-to-date question. Does Greece produce or have potential mineral resources for critical raw materials and transition metals? Greece has the potential to produce certain critical and strategic raw materials which are largely contained in state-owned areas, but also holds strong indications for further research on this era. However, existing potential requires updating as well as reliable technical and economic approaches regarding the specific reserve potential to be exploited. According to the current EU list of critical raw materials, and based on the Hellenic Survey of Geology and Mining Exploration estimates and also published research results from Greek academia, we can make an indicative reference to the critical and strategic raw materials potential included in minerals of Greece. As you see in the image, bauxite for the production of alumina and metallic aluminum, nickel cobalt bearing laterites, copper, magnesite, hydromagnesite, manganese, polymetallic mixed sulfides with iron, zinc, lead, silver, and gold, stibnite, antimonite for antimony, quartz with high purity silicon for silicon metal, phosphorites, including rare earths, and graphite, scheelite and wolframite for tungsten, PGMs for platina and palladium, rare earths, and other strategic metals like molybdenite, also with rhenium content, indium, tellurium, germanium, and bismuth. Let's make it clear from the beginning that projects are not in all cases ready and mature. They are mainly potential projects with CRMs. We can distinguish three categories of potential projects related to critical minerals in the Greek mineral sector. First category includes those minerals related to large companies that have been licensed and manage the mineral rights for them. For example, Greece is the largest bauxite producer in the EU, accounting for 85% of the total production, and also ranks 12th in the world in bauxite production, with Greek bauxite also including gallium and scandium metals, which can be recovered from the metallurgical residues. Company Metron has done a lot of improvements, especially in the gallium project, and it is considered possible, under conditions, to meet the needs of the European Union as a whole only from the utilization of the gallium contained in the Greek bauxite. Now, with Metron's new investment of almost 300 million euros in bauxite processing, Greece acquires for the first time the ability to produce gallium with the aim of covering almost all the Europe's gallium needs. In 2024, Europe needed 65 tons of gallium. Also, with this new investment, our country is strengthening its footprint in the supply of aluminum and alumina market in a dynamic way. Also, the case of copper, together with gold and other metals derived from mixed sulfide ores in Chalkidiki and Hellas Gold Company, which capitalizes on the expertise of Canadian parent company Eldorado Gold. In both above cases that are considered as projects with a strong maturity, what we do as a state is to help both the licensing process and the financial actions that serve the safe promotion and operation works on those projects. In this category, we can also include Greek nickeliferous laterites, bearing nickel and cobalt, currently not produced separately, as it is necessary to change the production method from pyrometallurgy to hydrometallurgy. Unfortunately, there is currently no production at all. It is the case of Larco SA, in which we need a new tender procedure and a new contractor. To the best of my knowledge, we are once again on track for a tender procedure, as there is a strong political decision and a prioritization process. In the second category belong some projects with minerals largely contained in state-owned areas that are considered less mature, meaning that they need more exploration studies to be on track. Also, the existing potential requires updating as well as economic approaches regarding the specific reserve potential to be exploited. Nevertheless, there is interest from financial groups, and therefore these cases could be put in a public tender procedure for both exploration and exploitation. In this category, we can include the Molai project in the Peloponnese, which is already contracted, the antimonite, scheelite, and wolframite deposits for antimony and tungsten, the manganese projects in Eastern Macedonia, the quartz, the high purity silicon, and some polymetallic mixed sulfides containing CRNs. The Chimeria iron copper skarn deposit of Xanthi trace consists of a magnetite-rich ore occurring along with sulfides, chalcopyrite, pyrite, and molybdenite, scheelite, minor sulfur salts, and native elements like gold and bismuth. A drilling project has been proposed to evaluate the qualitative characteristics of the deeper parts of the mineralization. So Chimeria deposit is also considered in the same second project category. In the case of the Molai, I would like to add that there is a well-documented identification of germanium along with zinc, lead, and silver. It should be noted that the Australian company Rockfire Resources, which has won the tender for the mining area of Molai, has emphasized in press releases that the experimental tests and measurements that have been carried out confirm the importance of this Molai project, which is now categorized among the top 20 undeveloped zinc deposits worldwide. Now, regarding antimony in Greece, there are at least 3 identified antimonite deposits that have not been exploited yet. First, in Keramos, Chios Island, Aegean Island, for which Greece, naming our ministry, has already issued a call for tender. Second, in the north of the town of Lachanas, in the mountainous complex of Krousia, Kilkis. And the third one is in Kalidiri, Thrace, northern Greece. Also, the Cassandra mining district, which is currently being mined by Elas Gold, Eldorado Gold, also boasts a significant antimony content in galena concentrates, which may be of economic value. Although antimony deposits and occurrences were identified in the last few decades in Greece, only a few studies have been carried out until now, and scientific literature regarding antimony in Greece is rather scarce compared to the studies for other types of ore deposits. And finally, there is a third category of potential projects or rather occurrences related to the research that have been done and published mainly by Greek academia and Hellenic survey of geology and mining exploration. Here, in these cases, we need more exploration and research, and a more specific study is required in each individual case. In this category, we can include rare earth elements in black sands found in the sediments of the Northern Aegean around Kavala and Strimonikos Gulf, and derived from the plutonic rocks of the area, mainly cerium, lanthanum, and neodymium. Also some porphyry and epithermal deposits in Greece containing PGMs, platinum group metals, tellurium, molybdenite, also with high rhenium content, bismuth, germanium, and indium. Let's now proceed to talk about what are the main challenges and bottlenecks that make mining in Greece difficult or in some cases not possible. In Greece, there are some additional shortcomings and weaknesses of the Greek administration or challenges affecting the sector which have to be addressed. First, lack of comprehensive land use planning and particularities of the Greek system which are reflected in the permitting procedure. For example, the Greek land registry has not been completed yet, resulting in the fact that there are areas around the country where the land ownership is not quite clear, including public land. Second, there is a social resistance towards new mining projects for fear of bad environmental practices or practices that impose risks to monuments of cultural heritage. Third, absence of thorough knowledge and understanding of the potential of mineral resources. We should further investigate this potential with the Hellenic Survey of Geology and Mineral Exploration, official advisor of the state on exploration matters, as it reflects the possibility and degree of exploitability and consequently the possible investments. And fourth, licensing framework that needs updating to meet CRM Act targets. I will talk about a little later about this when analyzing national steps and actions for mineral sectors development. But now let me elaborate a bit on the second one, social acceptance and resistance towards mining. There are two additional parameters and factors that are very critical for investing in this sector in Greece. Ancient monuments and generally our cultural heritage that has to be protected, and second, the environmental protected areas, Natura 2000 and other networks which are numerous and needs provisions in special and land use planning. Special protected areas cover 1/3 of the terrestrial surface of the country and up to 22 of national territorial waters. Greece is now 7th in the 27 EU member states in terms of coverage, exceeding the European Union average by 9 percentage points. And this is a well-known information. What is not well known is that unfortunately or even fortunately, a great deal of deposits that are to be mined or places to be investigated have been located to a considerable extent within these environmentally protected areas. Actually, 30 to 35% of the reserve potential of mineral raw materials in Greece is within the Natura 2000 network, excluding the areas related to the hydrocarbon deposits. And, of course, the question is quite obvious and it is common in the whole Europe, to mine or not to mine. But what is the answer regarding this issue? Well, I think the most realistic answer comes as follows. If we do not want to completely suspend mining and exploitation of our mineral wealth in protected areas, we must find a way to coexist. The legal framework of protection exists. It needs to be further clarified with the help of spatial planning for mineral raw materials. This is an ongoing reform for us and implemented by the administration. Let's continue now with the national steps and actions for the sector according to Ministry's action plan. Our strategic goal is to unlock the existing mineral potential of the country, contributing to the European transition progress at the same time. We have established a roadmap with 4 axes of action to address the above issues. A 5-year targeted national exploration program, including a re-evaluation of our mineral resources on primary and secondary CRMs, with a focus on those CRMs suitable for energy transition. This program includes updating systems used for mineral reporting and the classification of estimates, United Nations Framework Classification, UNFC, etc. This initiative will be implemented through Hellenic Survey of Geology and Mineral Exploration, which is responsible for the national policy of mining research in our country. B. Focused improvements in our licensing framework and securing its implementation over time in a consistent and transparent way. Greek Mining Code, despite its relatively satisfactory implementation over the years, requires updating. Moreover, new legislative provisions will be introduced regarding post-mining rehabilitation and alternative uses of fixed mining sites, which are seen as a new kind of wealth with great potential. C. At the same time, we are committed to a full and timely implementation of the requirements of the European Regulation, CRM Act. We are contributing from the very beginning to CRM's initiative, and we are determined to incorporate it positively in our national specific roadmap for promoting the mineral sector in our country. In this content, we have already designed competent administrative units called single points of contact, responsible for coordinating the permit granting process for critical strategic raw material projects for both extraction and processing of minerals in the country. Let me make a comment regarding CRM Act. There is a false impression that CRM Act is only about mining, but this is not quite correct. Already in the recent update of the strategic project submitted with the first call in all the EU countries, 2024, mining concerned only 45% of the initial proposals. Many percentage was covered by projects related to processing and recycling, while of the 3 very interesting and realistic proposals submitted by Greek companies, only one of the proposals concerned mining. And D. International tendering procedures for mature CRM promising projects, which will bring them into an immediate step-up investment perspectives for the benefit of the national economy, but also following concerns about criticality and necessity of these materials at a European and worldwide level. Tenders will be carried out in 2 phases. First, a call for expression of interest, non-binding offers, where those fulfilling the conditions will be selected to continue to the next phase. And second, a call for binding offers for the concession of exploration and exploitation rights of minerals. A recent decision to issue a call for a public, international, and open invitation to a tender for the exploration and exploitation of antimony deposits in the northern section of the island of Chios was signed by Deputy Environment and Energy Minister Alexandra Zduk. Tender is definitely a part of the government's efforts to highlight and develop Greece's mineral resources. Antimony is on the European Union's list of critical raw materials, and it is a mineral with various uses, including, among others, in the defense industry and in technologies of green transition. The degree of antimony criticality in European Union is extremely high, and there is no currently mining and production of antimony at all. And moreover, the degree of its substitution by other elements for specific uses is almost zero. So, the European Union is heavily reliant on imports of antimony, and it won't be an exaggeration to claim that Greece, by exploiting its three significant antimonite deposits mentioned previously, could cover all the European needs that are currently being imported. Till the end of 2025, our action plan includes more tender announcements for the lease of a relevant number of state-owned mining areas. Development of Greece's mineral resources will strengthen its efforts and those of the European Union in diversifying the sources of raw materials and boosting safety of supplies with the final goal of European strategic autonomy in raw materials. And finally, last but not least, an often overlooked need to promote responsible mining under strong social, environmental, and labor standards. A need that goes together with the need for public awareness and social perception, which are important key elements nowadays. All aspects of our roadmap are covered by our vision to enhance acceptability of extractive projects in our country, but also generally everywhere. Our vision is to fully implement the social license to operate, SLO, which is a social consent passport that has to go beyond meeting all the legal regulations. For us, the key action is to capture and incorporate the values, aspirations, and vision of the communities involved, while at the same time encourage and develop a diversified economic base for long-term prosperity. We strongly believe that European authorities should emphasize to this crucial key element too. We believe that through strategically focused and systematic community engagement and communication, we'll manage to eliminate antagonistic relationships with other prominent local industries, for example, tourism, and promote joint value creation. In the case of tourism, which is a vital sector for country prosperity, our main concern is to shift the relationship between tourism and mining in the local economy from antagonistic to complementary, with all the expected benefits for national economy. And finally, in the last slide, here are some administrative tools and access to specific information that could be useful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.